Thank you. Welcome. First, a bit.
Just a second, I will check. One moment.
I was muted.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Welcome all. I will do it over again. My name is Paul Keijzers. I'm founder of KB Works and momentarily co-owner of KB Works. I'm a Microsoft MVP since 2017, mostly focused on Microsoft Teams, in IT since 2000. And I just saw that my slides are the older slides, still the same content, but we had made some differences therein. We have a lot of YouTube videos in Dutch where we explain some functionality. You can view them on the link kbworks.nl/YouTube. My LinkedIn handler is in there, and my Twitter account where I tweet a lot, but also a lot about people that create great content. So start following me and you will see some new items arriving. So let's go into why you do not want to do a live event, or why you do want to do a live event. First of all, I'm very curious if people already did a live event. I don't know if we can see some hands raised or that people can give a reaction. I see some, yeah, great. So a lot of people already did live events and a lot of people didn't do them. Most of the time we want to do a live event because of we have more than 350 people in the meeting, and yeah, we need to have a live event. We want people to see us. Live events go up to 20,000 people, so yeah, that's enough. But most important, we want to send. So it should be like a webinar, and it could be a webinar internally or externally. And there are some difference there as well. I will go into the detail a bit later as well for all the settings. But for now, I first want to do the list of things you want to do before you check, okay, I want to do a live event. And actually, in the end, I will tell you something that's pretty new, and I think that's why you do not want to do a live event at the end. But meanwhile, still, I think it's a great tool. What people also want to do is we want to people to send information instead of chatting. So what at the moment, if we are in a meeting like this, then people can still send chat messages. And when we send chat messages, we can still see them, and people can make fun of the presenter, etc. And for most official live events, that's really something that could be disturbing. We have seen some situations where people were doing public announcements, and that people in the audience were telling that it was a lot of crap, etc., etc. So that's why you want to do a live event as well. Another thing is you want to moderate the video. Who is in the picture, who is not in the picture? What content is displayed, what content is not displayed? as you can see in this event, we are using some new functionality as well. But mainly in a live event, we have some more possibilities. Also, we do not want to see everyone. We only want to see the person who is presenting. So we want to spotlight somebody. Within spotlighting, within Teams, you can spotlight, and if you are a presenter in a normal meeting, you can spotlight somebody. If the attendees are just attendees, they cannot spotlight. And sometimes they want different scenes. And the last thing, which I think is not necessary to have a live event, because you can do scenes as well within this environment and within the live event environment. But basically, these are some things that people want to do for a live event. So I will directly go to slide 7, and I know it's a lot of content. So first of all, we need a license. Is my license okay? So do you have a license that's minimal E1? Because you need an E1 license to do a live event. Lots of people start with a small business or a business standard license, and then they forgot that they do not have the live event license, so they cannot do the live event. Then we have to help them out with licenses, and a lot of people are really like nervous when they are going to do this live event. So this is something you want to take out before they are going into the live event. I will come back to the right part as well, because the dry run is really extremely important. But another thing which people forget when they are going to do this live event is that they have the computer not in the power. So the laptop goes to sleep, or the PC goes to sleep, or it's not strong enough. So it's a really old PC, and as you may know, Microsoft Teams uses a lot of CPU and GPU, which basically comes down to processing of the computer. And if you have a computer which is not strong enough, or you are less on memory, then this will directly follow your presentation. Another thing is the desktop application is not installed. So what they forget is that they think, okay, I can do it on my mobile phone or on my iPad. The iPad functionality is actually something that is just announced, and yesterday I did a live event with people where we used actually one iPad, but what happened, and this again is something to learn, that they were joining by iPad, and the presentation was not on the iPad because they forgot to put the presentation on the iPad. So I would really recommend to have a desktop application, so on a Windows PC or on a MacBook, it doesn't matter, at least if it's a desktop application, because you have all your functionality there. What people really forget is the presentation itself. So what we always recommend in case you are the producer, that you always have a backup of all the slides that you need. Because the slides, for example, the woman in this case who didn't have the PowerPoint presentation, I had a backup of all the slides that were going to be presented. So in this case, I was also the producer, which is not ideal, because if you are the producer, you have to switch between the different people, different content, and I will show you in a minute how this looks as well. But that's really important to know, because if somebody forgets the presentation, then you are actually screwed because they cannot present. There's a mail function, so that's always possible, that Microsoft Teams is down, or something is in the PC not correct. This is something that, yeah, you cannot be aware of. The moderated chat, so be aware, within a meeting you have the possibility to add apps like Forms, Kahoot, other apps you can directly add in the Teams environment. And within a live event you cannot add an app like you do in a meeting. And this is something you need to be aware of, because when you are doing a live event, there's a 30-second delay. So once you start your video, it will take up to 30 seconds before your video shows for the audience. And for example, when you want to do a poll, then you need to know that, okay, we need like 30 seconds to talk before we get results in, and then we can discuss them with the public. But again, the public cannot react via chat, so they cannot say, okay, I see this question, or they can add comments to your session. Another thing is the producer, who is actually creating who is in the picture, cannot unmute. So when you are a producer, you can use the mute all, like Gorana did in the beginning of the session, while I was also muted, but I have to unmute myself, and that's something you have to be aware of. You have to say to everybody in the event who is going to present that they first of all need to mute, and when they are muted, that they have to come unmute when they are coming back into the event and have to present. And this is something that sometimes goes wrong. The video is not recorded. This is something that you do in the admin center. So you have to ask your IT department if the video is recorded. If the video isn't recorded, then you sometimes the IT department puts it on. People can record the video themselves, but most of the time, people in a live event, again, they are very nervous, so they will forget to put on the recording of the app, of the live event. Another thing is the attendee report. Within the Teams meeting, you get now a very nice overview with a CSV. You get that also within your live event, but if you are going to do it externally, people can send the link to other people, and you do not know who is in the meeting at all. So that's something that's really important to know, because they are just like GUIDs, which you can see in the CSV. Another thing, why do we need a dry run? The dry run is really necessary. Last time we did a dry run, and the dry run was I told the people which we were going to do the live event for, we need everybody in the dry run. Although it's even just like a minute or 5 minutes, they need to be in the dry run. And what happened, and this is something that happens a lot, that the most important people who are presenting do not do the dry run. And within a live event, and this is something that is coming into a change, but is still on some tenants not rolled out, if you haven't attended the dry run and you are an external, you cannot be added to the live event. And this happened with some important people last week. I told them they should have everybody in the dry run, and they said, okay, they were too busy. They think they are good. They have done it multiple times. I said, okay, it's your responsibility, but always be aware, dry run is really important. When you are in a live event and you click end live event, then it really ends. So be aware, you cannot restart the live event. You can though leave the live event with the leave button, but then the live event still goes on unless you are the only one who is in the live event. People do not see when the event starts, so you do not have like a slide and music at front. If you want to do that, you have to put up a slide in front, create music on the back, and send that live. But be aware, if you do this, then the people, if they come off mute, and we see that happening as well, then they will be people will listen to them live in the live event. So be aware of that as well. People without Office 365 account cannot present. That's something that is changing. So that was really a problem. My sound is going faster than my video. I don't know if you have watched the keynote. But due to the internet, at least that's what I think, we saw some lip sync problems in the video of Jeff, which sometimes happens depending on the recording on the internet speed. I want to create cool sceneries, names when somebody new comes in. So, for example, that the name slides in, or like in my video, the time. Which continues. You can do that by using like OBS or vMix, which are great tools to use. My live event is private with some externals. How do I overcome that the link is shared? Well, there's something you need to know about that, and they have to be, if you really want to make it private, you first have to create a team where they are a member of, and then you can create an internal meeting which is private. So then it will work. But of course, that's a hard way, because you first have to make them a member of a team, which is quite, if you have a large event, then that's quite an issue. I'm unable to remove my background in the live event. If you are going into a live event and you still have your background on, you cannot remove the background. So be aware that you first turn off the background if you are going into the live event, or turn the background on before you go into the live events. That's the same. Another thing is, we only have one share screen, and when you share the screen, then people will directly put the share into the live event if they are sharing their presentation. So they will directly take over the presentation. This is something you do not want. So enough talking. I will go into a short demo and talk you through the live event. I've set up a remote machine, so I will share my remote machine. Let's see, and it's still. So once you want to set up a live event, you can go into the drop down here and schedule a live event. Now you directly see that if you are doing a live event, then you can type the title, for example, demo. It's an online event. You can set up the time. And this is something that came along with preview. Allow external presenters. So this is something that's new, that's making it more easy to do your presentation. So in this case, I will invite Debbie, who is my co-owner of KB-Works, and I will click on next. And something that is really important to know, now you get like the 3 settings at the top. First of all, people and groups. This is where you want to do your private event with externals. So they have to be a member of a team. The org-wide event, and you need to sign in, so that's required. Actually, the top one is also with sign in, else you couldn't do that. But there's something that I forgot to mention in my slide deck, and org-wide events are great. But if you are going to use org-wide events and everybody is in the company, be aware of your bandwidth, because every stream which is going to be sent out is like 4 MBs per screen. So if you have 100 people in your firm that are watching the live event in the office, then you have a real problem. What you can do is you can use external CDN, and I'm going to show you which I would recommend if my browser is still, yeah. So I would recommend like Collective, which makes it possible to scale your live event. So this is something I really would encourage you if you are doing a live event with lots of internal people. Further on, if we are going to do a public event, then everybody will be able to see it. Then we still have the possibility to make the recording available. In my case, the IT department already said, okay, we always want to record the producers and presenters. We can choose the captions which we want. At this moment, I think there are like a few, not all, but there will be more and more. The attendee engagement report and the Q&A. And the Q&A is like the moderated chat. So that's something that you need to know. Now you see this external app or device disabled, and that's because we choose public. If we would choose org-wide, then we can set up an external app, and then it would be possible to stream via RTMP, which I'm not going to do now. Then we schedule the meeting. What we get is the direct link for people who will attend this meeting. So in this case, you can send it, put it on the website that people can join the link. Be aware, if you use this link, I would really make a short link that you can edit. Because if people start and end the live event before the real live event is going on, then you can still change this URL. And I see we are all already running a bit out of time, but still, what I want to show you is, in this case, I will join a live event, which I did previously create, and I will do it from my other virtual PC as well. So I'm going to join it, and I did join with Debbie as well. So in this case, this is the view you get as a producer. As a presenter, you just get a normal presentation screen. So if you have content and you want to share content, I'm going to check if I can share. Yeah, I can share this. So if Debbie is going to share her content, I can put it over here, and I can even select a presenter next to it. Once we are ready, we can send it live, and now still nothing happened because this is the queue where you can previously set up the stuff, and here's what is going to be sent live. Now this is the start button. If you click on it, you will get like a 10-20 second delay. My experience, it's more like 30 seconds to a minute. So now if I click on continue, we are live. You see how many attendees there are. If we are live, how many minutes. We can, in this case, I haven't made Q&A, but we can chat with the presenters. If I would have the Q&A, you would see it in here as well. And we can select the see who is in the meeting at this moment. Further on, we also have NDI. And NDI is something you have to turn on. And I will turn it on for now. And I'm really looking at the time as well. So that's why I have to check if I can still make it. But if we turn on NDI, you will get a message. And within NDI, we can use it within OBS. In this case, I also have set up OBS, and I would be able to select the source. So I can select who is sharing or who is speaking. In this case, because the camera is not on at Debbie's side, I could not select her, but I could select shared screen and then put it on. And you will have the possibility to do different scenes and send it directly to Teams as well. So this is something that's really interesting if you want to go on further. But again, OBS you can also use within a normal meeting. And depending on the NDI functionality, you could use NDI to select multiple videos, make your own scenes, and spotlight that. So that would be a real option. If we end the meeting, then it really stops. If I would click on leave, it will say your video will go in and you will still be fine. You can still go back. So I'm just leaving the meeting, but you still see that the meeting is on. When I join it again, and this happens sometimes when your Teams is running bad, then you can end the meeting eventually at here. But still, the people who are in the events can still continue to view. I will end this meeting. Considering the time, within the Teams admin center, you have to set up the NDE if you want to use NDE. But be aware, if you are going to do it, then select the people who may do the NDI streaming. So that's something that's really important to know. And if we go to the live event settings, we will see that we have the settings to record, always record, and the transcription for attendees. So these are settings that you have to do upfront, or at least ask your IT department. If I go back to Teams, then you will also see under the settings and under the app permissions, there you have NDI. If you want to enable it, you have to do it in here. And I would really recommend to shut down completely Teams after you enabled it and restart Teams to have it fully working. What I also want to let you know is that there are some tools around that can make your Teams meeting in VR. I got this link from some colleague, but you can create your virtual offices and things like that. So that's quite interesting to use. And another thing is, if you have a great meeting, then you could also use a tool like this, and then you get like a real virtual event where you can go into to a session and see what's going on there. So this is something I wanted to show as well. And last but not least, yesterday they announced that webinars is going to be live. And I think we are using the webinar functionality in this meeting as well. My friend of mine, Michel Baumann, is going to give a presentation on webinars this afternoon at 2 to 2:30, how webinars works and what you can do with it. So this is really interesting for you as well. If you are going to do the live events, it's interactive till 1000 and beyond. So, but that's for the session of Michel. So I'm going to stop presenting, and I want to know if there are any questions, and yeah, let me know.